how does a company that is realizing that they need to address risk in contracts and controls controls in their contracts, start discussions with business partners to introduce contractual changes to start addressing the risks that are inherent, taking steps to protect both parties. And actually, this is something that was on my mind as well. You've got an existing contract, the world has changed, we're doing a better job in risk management. You're always, I mean, as a former chief procurement officer, you're always looking at the reasonableness of reopening a contract to negotiations, and yet you need to have new controls in. This is a very, very real business problem, and we saw it in spades during the pandemic, and now we're having lots of other issues we're still dealing with. So let me start with you, because you're dealing with this, I'm sure, daily. Lawrence, what do you do?
So it's really important to understand the business, the technology, or whatever the solution is that you're buying, and to be able to have a conversation with a business partner in their language, right? Because I
Yeah,
can create a risk register, but if I'm, sounding,
like
like
a
an
risk
attorney or
nerd?
a contracts guy or something, their eyes are gonna glaze over and they're gonna fall asleep, right? Or throw me out of their office. So I really need to say, here are the things that matter. Here's the things that we're covered for. Here's the things we're not covered for. Here's what's changed. Here's why. And really talk to, how do I solve the unmet business need, right? It could be a renegotiation. It could be just putting some control in place in terms of operationally, right? It could be, I mean, there's a variety of ways of solving things.
Yep.
But it has to be in the language that and I call business partners my internal customers, just separate from customer with checkbook. So it's got to be a way that the business partner can understand, that they're interested in, they're willing to act on. Because typically what's going to happen is they're going to, well, oh, that's great, I agree, but I don't need budget for that, right? Because if I go renegotiate a contract and add a bunch of stuff to it, it might raise the price. So how do we go and make a creative solution that's really going to solve the problem to the extent we can? Or how do we agree with facts and data, eyes wide open, to say, you know what, I'm willing to accept that risk?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that is the key, basically, is truly understanding the business. I mean, I'm so with you on that. I see lots of people in risk and procurement jobs who don't take the time to understand what the business. I mean, I worked in huge banks. I used to think, make it my mission, once a quarter, I would try to spend in our, my own departments, town halls, trying to explain the business we were in, because it was complicated. And you're in a very complex industry as well. So making sure that the people that you work with understand the business so they can do a better job. They really identifying with the business and what they're trying to accomplish. And then the second layer, of course, is the risk side of things. And I see a lot of procurement people that are not yet really plugged into the fact they do need to understand risk. You may not have to do all the work around it, but basically you can't advance your career in today's environment unless you are basically well-rounded in full service. And so understanding risk is really essential. Understanding procurement is really essential for risk people, and understanding the business is important for everybody.